Oh, it's a bit low. That's better. All right. I go with 1 ring, 2 rings. Let's go with 2 rings. 2 rings. All right, hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now, 2 videos ago, I essentially went over a couple artists that I was really inspired by on Instagram. These are artists that oftentimes when I'm lacking creative ideas, I go on their profiles, scroll through a bit, and get some inspiration. That video did pretty well, so today I wanted to talk about around 4 more other artists that essentially do the same thing for me again. Again, these are artists that I have been following for a little bit, and there's something about their work that resonates with me. And if you look at a lot of my work, you'll see a lot of inspirational correlation that happens between my work and my ideas and a lot of their work and their ideas. Also, you might have seen some of their work while you're browsing Instagram. I think 2 of them are super popular. I know the last one I'm going to talk about, if you haven't seen his work, then I don't really know where you've been, but he's by far one of the most famous and one of the most popular artists that the platform has. And in my eyes, his art is interesting in a very different way. And I'll talk about it more when I get to him. Now, first up, I wanted to talk about Aspen Crow. Now, right away, the guy has a little bit over 100,000 followers. And his work has really evolved since I first started following him. When I first started following him, he did a lot of hyper-real sculptures, a lot of stuff like that. I mean, this is Andy Warhol that he made, and this is the full Andy Warhol sculpture that he made. Again, super hyper-real, almost eerie looking, very realistic, insane amounts of detail. If you scroll down even a little bit more, I mean, this guy just renders eyeballs. Again, almost freaky looking. This was his sculpture of Cara Delevingne, and he goes to the extremes of like individually placing hairs, painting the skin color on, and his sculptures ultimately in the end have this super surreal feel, very contemporary, but also definitely has that finesse of old school masters and making things look real. His work has definitely changed though in recent years. He's done a lot of like 3D modeling, especially on like the computer, and he is now just making these really fun, interesting characters, like this little guy right here. Yeah, now he's doing a lot of like digital stuff, 3D printing things, I assume. But yeah, his work just always looks really cool. What originally drove me to his profile was the level of detail he had, and he really just like pushed me and made me explore that part of my art a little bit more, and just really packing in the details in the faces I make. And I also just love how he documents his work. Again, if I scroll all the way down, a lot of his photos are really well done. I don't know if he takes these photos, but I wouldn't be surprised if he either has a photographer or he has like a photography background as well and has experimented with that. This was his sculpture of Conor McGregor. Very interesting, almost like an unfinished like marble piece, but then you get like a close-up of the face, and the face has like real hair that he individually placed. The skin, it almost has like a real skin texture quality to it, even though it's not actual skin. He has pores. The pores kind of stretch and they move with the flow of the face, and just a really cool, again, contemporary twist on what is normally thought of as like old school techniques. So Aspen Crow is the first artist I wanted to talk about. Up next I have a painter, and his name is Henry. Can't really pronounce his last name. Henry's work is pretty famous on Instagram. I'm sure you have seen his work here and there if you've been just scrolling on the Explore page a little bit and you follow any of the artists. He's an oil painter, and I love his like abstract twist on traditional realistic style painting. He has a very strong understanding of colors and bold colors, and mixing the warm and cool tones, especially on skin. If you look at paintings like this one, a lot of like the colors in this person's cheek and hands and even a little bit around the nose are very cool toned, almost like gray silverish. But then you go around to the mouth and under the nose and in the darker areas, and you just get like blasted with this deep red, and the color contrast is pretty amazing. And it kind of relates to the contrast of the actual painting, where half the painting has this like semi-realistic tone to it, but then the other half of the painting is just has a much more surreal and abstract feel to it as well. So So Henry is an artist that honestly, he really doesn't need any of the promotion. He's very, very well known, 800,000 followers. But anytime I'm like struggling with ideas or I'm trying to explore the same kind of dark, moody vibe that he's exploring, I always take a scroll through his page and I find something like this, which honestly, surface level doesn't really look like much, but then you kind of squint your eyes, and you see like a face maybe screaming, hands holding like this, like the traditional scream portrait. I don't know. There's like a lot of stuff you'd see in his art. It's almost like a cool, weird like Rorschach test. This was like this weird run he went on where he just made very, very abstract, almost gruesome looking faces and bodies morphing and contorting into each other. But yeah, very, very weird. Ugh. It's an eerie mood he's going for, and he's giving you just enough info for your imagination to run wild, but he doesn't really expand on the details at all. So that's Henry. Up next, I have Steven Winterburn. Now, Steven Winterburn is a guy who is essentially who I want to be as an artist. He is a sculptor, and he makes these like pretty awesome, almost like to scale big bronze sculptures. Like that is what I want to do. I make pretty good sculptures, but I'm not pretending. I'm not at this level just yet. He's a guy who I would love to apprentice under. So Steven, if you see this, please hit me up. And he makes really, really awesome bronze sculptures. I mean, look at that thing. That's an awesome looking lion. He does a lot of play. He plays around a lot with animal forms and human forms, and he sometimes combines the two, and he does a pretty good job on Instagram. He did the sculpture of a barn owl. So that is Steven Winterburn. Again, Steven, if you see this, hit me up. You're who I want to be. And last but not least, probably the most popular and famous artist on this list, and one of the most interesting ones on Instagram, that's for sure. And that is Beeplebe. Beeplebe is one of the most famous artists in the world right now. And what's interesting about his art is, number one, I don't know how he does it, but his Instagram page is as much of a work of art as his actual art pieces are. The whole concept behind it is that he posts every single day. Now, if you've tried to do something every single day and remain consistent with it, you understand how difficult that is. I tried to do like a photo series where I take photos every single day, and that proved to be a challenge. Honestly, around day like 60 or 70, I was like, this is just getting too much. And it was just such a hassle remembering to take that photo and edit it and post it. And this guy does it with like really weird, interesting works of art. I don't know what program he uses to render these. He oftentimes gets somewhat sexual. He gets somewhat political as well. But I don't know if he's using Photoshop. I don't know if he's using CAD. He must have like renders pre-rendered, and he just like places everything on top of each other. This is Elon Musk, Rogan, and Trump. But yeah, very weird works, and he does one every single day. So if you just scroll through, you kind of get like a historical timeline of everything that's happened, but in such a weird way. Like I would love to know his process, how he does this, and maybe honestly just hang out with him for one day just to understand how his mind works, because some of his work is just very weird. This was around the Haktua craze. But yeah, I just need to know this guy's daily routine, what he does, because again, doing one of these every single day, and I think he's on day 6,000 or something insane like that. I know he had a book come out where it's like, yeah, 17 plus years of every single day. He makes one every single day, and he's been doing one for 17 years. I don't know the accuracy behind that statement, but if that's true, then Beeplebe is honestly probably one of the most prolific artists of our time, really. Again, he's a guy who really doesn't need any of my advertising. He has 2 million followers, 3,000 plus posts, but yeah, his work is just so weird. And it's not similar to what I do at all. I do very different things. But seeing something as creative as this and as wild and weird as this will oftentimes help you to get your own creative ideas as well. So which is why I follow people. But yeah, that is pretty much it. These are 4 of the artists I follow who I get personally a lot out of. This was a super quick video. I had to get this one out there. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Give all of them a follow. I'll probably post their IGs in the caption below, in the description below. Go watch the previous video where I talk about saw 4, maybe, I think it was, or 5 artists in that video as well. So yeah, go watch that previous video. I'll have my own socials in the description. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see more. Schedule is going to be ramping up super soon after the 28th. I have one more grad school application to fill in, and then yeah, free days from there. So I'll be making a ton more videos. But yeah, hit the bell so you're notified every single time I post a video. And as always, have a great day. Bye.